Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Games I Bought Recently. Yes, I know, it's actually been almost exactly 1 year since I put out my last episode for Games I Bought Recently. But I figured what better time to do it than right when I got back from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. So for those of you that did not know, I attended the Portland Retro Gaming Expo this past weekend, and I had a blast. This was the second time I've ever been to a retro gaming convention. The last one was back in like 2010 for Too Many Games in Pennsylvania, and I was absolutely blown away by the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I actually chose not to bring my camera because I just wanted to really fully absorb the experience, and boy did I ever. First of all, before I get to showing you guys the games that I bought, I have to thank a few people. First is Chuck Van Pelt, one of the board of directors of the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to go. So Chuck, thank you so much for all of your help in getting the AllGenGamers as a full cast into the expo itself. We really appreciate that. And I also have to thank my friends and fellow co-hosts of the AllGenGamers, Jason Heine, Gamester81, and MetalJesusRocks. I also have to thank the countless people that I ran into on the show floor. There were so many of you, I couldn't keep track over the 2 days that I was there. I mean, it was really overwhelming just how many people came up and said, you know, I've been watching you since 2008. I appreciate everything you do, and it just really meant a lot to me. And, well, there are a whole bunch of other people, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. What do you say we get into checking out what games I picked up at the expo? I usually save the best for last, but in this case, I think I'm just going to bring out the best and just right up front. What do you say? So, at Chuck's booth, he was selling a game that I never thought I'd actually buy, to be quite honest, and it's been on my want list for a long time, but because of the price, I've just been like, I'll never own that game. It's a Game Boy Advance game. It's incredibly rare, incredibly expensive. It's probably the rarest North American Game Boy Advance game by far. And yeah, I picked it up for a very good price. Chuck gave me an amazing deal. And that game is Ninja 5-0, also known as Ninja Cop in Europe. And Chuck, I will tell you guys, gave me an amazing deal on this. This thing is mint complete. I mean, this thing looks like it was almost never touched. The insides, the manual, everything is just mint. It was the last day of the show. Up to this point, I had not bought any like exceedingly rare or expensive games. I think the most I spent on a game was like $50 on a reproduction, which I'll get to in a second. So I'm like, you know, if I'm gonna buy a rare game, I want it to go towards the person that first of all helped me get here. I want it to go towards someone that will, you know, really appreciate me buying this game from them. And I decided to pick it up in like the last hour of the last day of the show. He gave me a really good deal. I don't want to say exactly how much he gave it to me for because, well, I don't know if he'd want me to say in case he told other people a different deal. Who knows? But let's just say that he gave me $100 off the asking price. Some of you can put that together if you've been checking my Facebook. But let's just say the price I got it for was well below what a mint complete copy of this would go for on eBay. So I am ecstatic to try this game out. This is developed by Hudson Soft, published by Konami. It's a side-scrolling ninja action game. That is supposedly actually a really good game. So I didn't buy this just because it's rare. I bought it because I really want to play this game. So maybe I'll do a video on it in the future. Maybe I'll stream it. Who knows? Maybe I won't even like the game. We'll find out. So that is the rarest and most expensive game that I bought at the show. Alrighty, next up is that reproduction cart that I was talking about, and that is for a game that I've been wanting to play for years. But you guys know me, I'm not into emulation all that much, so I was waiting to get a copy of this on a physical cart, and it finally happened. I've been waiting to get this in a sort of nice presentation, and I finally have the English translation on a physical Game Boy Advance cart of Mother 3. This is the sequel to Earthbound, and I've actually prepared for this moment, because like a year or two ago at Comic-Con, yeah, PAX, I don't even remember, but I bought this Mother 3 guide, which is put out by Fangamer, and it's fan-made, but it is an incredible guide. It sort of mimics the old Earthbound guide in terms of like the way it's laid out with the different artwork and images. It's probably hard for you guys to see this, but let's just say, long story short, I prepared for this moment. I bought this long before I even had this game because I'm like, one of these days, I will get the English translation on a cart. And it comes in a slipcase like this, and comes in a DS case here, and as you can see, there is the actual cart. So I'm really excited for that, guys, because I think I'm going to play this like maybe tonight. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I've been dying to play it. Alrighty, so next, besides that, I picked up actually a whole bunch of games for a system I did not expect to buy a lot of games for at the convention. and that's Sega CD. On the first day there, I stumbled upon a seller that just had a whole bunch of games that were on my want list, and decided to pick them up. I made him a deal, so I got all of the following games for $100. I talked them down from $110 to $100. I tried to get it for $95, but it was the first day. You got to haggle, but you can't go that low on the first day. But I knew going into the second day that most of these games probably wouldn't have survived. So first up is Willy Beamish, and this is sort of like an adventure FMV game with cartoony graphics. Never played it. It's in really, really nice condition in one of the cardboard boxes. It's my first cardboard box Sega CD game. This is relatively uncommon, and that's Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, the Second Cataclysm. This is another really strange like blend of FMV, arcadey, like dodging style. I don't know. It's like it's like you're dodging dinosaurs in this car, or Cadillac for that matter, in like FMV cartoon cutscenes. It looks completely insane. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a video on this sometime. This is supposed to be a really bad platformer, but it's actually pretty uncommon and it's hard to come by, and that's Wild Woody. One of the few exclusive Sega CD platformers, so I figured I'd check that out. Because I like platformers, I like to give them a chance, even if they're supposedly really bad. This one I'm excited for. It's developed by Core Design, which for those of you that watched my video on hidden gems for rail shooters, you'll know that I included Soulstar, which was one of the amazing rail shooter games on Sega CD, exclusive and developed by Core Designs. This is also one of their exclusive games released only on the Sega CD, and that's Battle Core. And this game graphically looks really impressive. That's sort of why I was drawn to it, was because of just how much it really pushes the Sega CD's graphical capabilities. It's a first-person mech game, looks really impressive, so happy to pick that up. And then this one here I'm really interested in playing, and that's Revengers of Vengeance. This is a really underknown exclusive for the Sega CD. It's a blend between an RPG and a 2D fighter. So in the overworld, it sort of plays like your traditional RPG. And then when you get into a battle, it turns into a 2D fighting game. Sounds really interesting. It's relatively hard to find, so I was glad that I was able to pick a copy of that up. This came from a different seller, so this wasn't in the lot of games that I got for $100. But this is the Masked Rider Kamen Rider Zo. This is an FMV game for a series that I am honestly not familiar with. Some TV series from Japan, I guess. I don't even know. But it's one of those wacky, crazy FMV full-motion video games with real-life actors and everything. It just looks completely insane. So that's one game that I've actually had on my list for quite a while. This did come from the lot from the seller that I got the games for, so this was included in on that price. It's a Sega Saturn game though, and that's Crime Wave. This is a game I've been wanting to check out. I believe it's also on the PlayStation 1, but for some reason I just wanted it on the Saturn. Maybe it was something to do with the graphics, but this is sort of like a top-down vehicular combat game, it looks like. I watched some videos online for it like years ago, and I always thought it looked pretty fun, so glad I was able to pick a copy up for that. Alright, next is a game that I found at a booth for $5, complete in box, and that's Digimon Racing. I figured I'd take a chance on this. I had no idea if it was any good, but I was sort of reassured later on when I visited one of the booths, and one of the sellers there from another castle noticed the game. I said I paid $5. He's like, that's actually a pretty good game, so maybe one day I'll get around to checking this out. Never really got into Digimon. I was definitely more into Pokemon. Okay, next is a complete-in-the-box copy of Fatal Rewind for the Sega Genesis. This is developed by Psygnosis, and Psygnosis is one of those developers that I trust them. You know, I see their logo on the box, and I'm like, you know, I don't know what this game is about, really, but I did in this case. But I'll buy it because I trust Psygnosis. I like a lot of their games, and in this case, this is like a 2D action it's like a blend between a platformer and a shoot-'em-up game where you play as this mech. I remember watching videos a long time ago and thought it looked pretty good, so this was like only $8, so couldn't go wrong there. Alright, next is just a handful of Dreamcast and PS1 games. So I got 7th Cross Evolution. This is one of the few RPGs on the Dreamcast. It's arguable if you want to call this a role-playing game. I've watched some video on it a long time ago. It kind of... I don't even know how you'd sum up this game. Like a cross between Seaman and an action-adventure. I don't know. It looks weird. It was only $8. It's been a game I've wanted for the Dreamcast for quite some time. And next is one of my favorite old series on the PlayStation, and that's the Extreme series. I picked up the sequel to Extreme. I remember being a big fan of the first Extreme game, and I don't really remember if I played the second one too much, but I figured I'd try it out. This is a really great racing game. If you like the Road Rash series, you have to check out the Extreme series on the PlayStation. Trust me. And here's one. This game is actually a game that I put on my want list, or wish list, not too long ago. This is sort of like a shoot 'em up. Not like a shoot 'em up, like a ship-based shoot 'em up, but like I don't even remember. I watched some video and I was like, it uses a blend of like full motion video and like polygonal graphics. I don't know, $5, I figured I'd try it out. It's pretty hard to search for this game online because you type in 1, you get a lot of other search results, so you have to be pretty specific there. And I got a racing game called Bug Riders: The Race of Kings. Apparently you fly around on bugs, and it just looks weird and wacky, and I figured pick it up. Always haggle. Like, all these games I picked up, I didn't always pay the price they were asking. My favorite thing to do is just like pick up a bunch of games and offer them a price and see what happens. And in the case of this next game here, it kind of worked out. This is a game that was on, it's been on my wish list for a long time. Basically ever since I started collecting for the 3DO. I didn't go there expecting to find a lot of 3DO games, but there actually were a ton of people selling complete in-box 3DO games. And one of them that I've really wanted is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Deathkeep. I have Slayer. I've wanted this one for so long. This is actually a $35 to $50 plus game on eBay, complete in the box. When I bought it at the time, I didn't realize there was some tape on here, but they were asking $40 for it. I offered them $30. They turned it down. They said, what about $35? I said, what about $32? So, got it for $32. I was really happy about that, and I cannot wait to try this because the other Advanced Dungeons & Dragons game on 3DO is definitely like one of the best games you can play on that system. So, really glad I was able to add this to my collection. Pretty unexpected. Didn't expect to go there and get that. Alright, next, I'm just going to go through 2 games here, and then I'm going to get to some stuff that people gave me at the show. I picked up Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS. I haven't had quite as much time to play this as I would want because I've been pretty busy. But I did download this on the eShop on my Japanese 3DS, so I played it for like about 3 weeks before it came out in the US and had a ton of fun with it. My favorite characters right now are Pac-Man, and my favorite character is probably Bowser Jr. by far. I really love playing as Bowser Jr. Tried out some online, the single player. Amazing game. Can't wait to pick this up on the Wii U though because it really cramps my hand to play it on the 3DS. And I picked this game up on the train ride to Portland, and that is Theatrhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call. I have to say this is like one of the biggest fan service games I've ever played for any game ever. Like 220 songs. I needed a game to keep me busy for a couple of hours on the plane ride, and this game totally did it justice. If you're a fan of the first Theatrhythm, you have to pick up Curtain Call. I mean, it's quite amazing how much content they fit in there. Alrighty, so next I just got to thank a couple of people. First of all, there was a booth at the expo that was selling this, and no, this is not a gold cart of The Legend of Zelda. It's actually called Legend of Drink, among many other, well, it's not a game, it's actually a flask. There was a person there that makes alcohol flasks in the shapes of NES carts, and you twist this part here, and it reveals the part we can drink out of here. I don't drink alcohol, especially something from a flask, but the guy was like, go ahead and take it, because I had been having a conversation in front of his booth with some other person that watches my channel for like a good half an hour, and at the end of it he was just like, you know what, take one of these, just go ahead, because he knew I was talking about my YouTube channel, and I figured, why not, I'll give you a shout out for, you know, giving me one of these for free, because it's pretty awesome. And if you guys wanted to check them out, they're at inkwhiskey.com, so if you think you want an NES cart that is actually a whiskey flask, go ahead and check it out. It's actually kind of funny in a way. So the next thing is the creator of a game on the NES called Armed for Battle. He was kind enough to hook me up with a copy of this for free, complete in box, and I definitely wanted to give him a shout out for that and mention his game because that's pretty awesome. And when you hear about what kind of game this is, it's going to maybe even blow your mind in a way. It kind of really surprised me. But it's a real-time strategy game on the NES that's heavily influenced by Warcraft 2. So you've got the town management, like building the barracks, unit management, like all this crazy stuff. I have to admit, like, I'm not really into NES as of late, but I'm really tempted to give this game a try because I really want to see what like a full-blown homebrew RTS game is like on the NES. So if you're interested in that more, just Google Armed for Battle on the NES and definitely check this game out. And thanks again for hooking me up with a copy of this. Alright, next is Chad. Chad's a viewer of my channel, and he was kind enough to find something for my Sonic the Hedgehog collection that I did not own, and I'm really surprised he was able to do that because my collection is quite extensive. And he hooked me up with a sealed bag of Sonic the Hedgehog, I guess they call them blowouts, but these Sonic the Hedgehog, like, party favor things. You know, the things that you blow into and it makes the sort of, like, weird noise? Took me with a bag of these, but the really funny thing is, like, a week before the expo, I almost bought some of these on eBay, so it was so ironic that he was able to give me give me a bag of these. So thank you so much, Chad, and I had a great time hanging out with you as well at the expo. And next is Ryan. I really have to thank Ryan. Every time I go to like a PAX show or any kind of gaming convention, and if he's there, he always manages to find me something for my Sonic the Hedgehog collection that I do not own. I don't think he's ever failed. And this year he hooked me up with something insane. A Sonic the Hedgehog pinball machine. Now, it's not one of those like full-blown pinball machines, obviously, but this is pretty awesome. I think, what is it, Tommy or Tomy puts this out. And Ryan, thank you so much. I don't know how he always manages to find me these things, but check it out. It's got a whole bunch of Sonic artwork in there. I will definitely have to try this out sometime from maybe the revival of my Sonic the Hedgehog channel. We'll see. And he also hooked me up with a Sonic Extreme book. Now, the funny thing about this, Sonic Extreme, for those of you that know the history of Sonic games, was a canceled Sega Saturn Sonic game. And there's a cool little kid's book out on it. So, Ryan, thank you so much once again for hooking me up with some amazing stuff that, I don't know how you find this stuff and how it's not my collection already, I don't know. And the last, oh, here, I almost forgot about this. At the auction at the expo, they had an auction where they, people bring in items to get auctioned off and people bid on them. And there was a booth that shows off items that are going to be auctioned way ahead of time so you can check out the stuff before you bid on it. And I knew I was going to win this. I had my eye on this. I knew what it was worth. I knew what my max bid was. I knew that I wouldn't have any competition. Whoever that was bidding against me, shame on you. You had no chance. Anyway, getting past that, I'm only kidding. They were auctioning off a Sly Cooper, Sly 3 to be more specific, promotional figure / statue. And I had known about these for years, and these retail on eBay right now for about $100, so I actually ended up bidding and winning for $70, which I was really happy about, because I was willing to bid more, and I was really happy to add this to my collection. I know that Gaming Heads, I believe, is releasing a real big Sly Cooper statue, but I'm more of a fan of the classic style and design of Sly Cooper, not so much his newer design, so I was really happy to get this for my collection, and it was fun to bid on something. I knew I was going to win the whole time. I mean, thankfully they didn't keep bidding, because who knows how high I would have went just to snag it from them. I have to say, it would be pretty dangerous for me to go to another video game auction, because you get caught up in the moment, I have to say. Alrighty, and the last two things here, I'm actually going to make a separate video on this, but if you're curious as to why I have a Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 copy here, and what this has to do with the Expo, I'm going to upload a video here in the next few days, probably, that talks about why these are so important to me, and yeah, hopefully you look forward to that. And once I upload it, I'll put it in the video description. So for those of you that are watching this later on, you can check it out, because I've got a really awesome story to tell behind these two games right here. So anyway, guys, I think it's gone on for long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed a new episode of Games I Bought Recently. I know it's been a while. Hopefully I'll get them out on a more frequent basis. I haven't really been buying games as much as I used to. I have been, but not... Well, anyway, Games I Bought Recently is back. Thumbs up for that, I guess. Alright, guys, I'll see you later.